Alexandra Eala just became one of the most viral athletes on the internet, and almost everything being said about her is a lie. Not a rumor, not a misunderstanding, a fabricated conflict, engineered frame by frame, designed to make you click before you think. And the reason it worked, the reason it spread across tens of thousands of screens, is that the real story underneath it is actually extraordinary. But nobody's been telling you the real story until now.
Does that come with kind of pressure or is it pride?
I would say more pride. I think it depends how you look at it, and I try to take it in with as much gratitude as I possibly can, because I know not a lot of players are able to have this platform, and it's a blessing to have this support behind me. So yeah, I won't say that it comes without any pressure at all, but what I do is I just try to focus on what I need to do on court, how I can work to the best of my ability, and I know that I'll perform to the best that I can.
Alexandra Eala, 20 years old, ranked number 28 in the world as of March 9th, 2026, walked onto Stadium 1 at the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells and defeated world number 4, Coco Gauff. Not in a tight match, not in 3 sets. Iala, trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy under coach Joan Bosch, took the first set 6-2. Then Gauff, experiencing what she herself described as feeling like a firework was going off inside her left arm, was forced to retire while trailing 2-0 in the second. That single match pushed Iala's career prize money past $1,700,000. It pushed her live ranking to number 28. It made her the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player in the history of the sport. And then the internet did what the internet always does.
It just, everything clicked after that. And yeah, I look back at that moment and I just think, wow, like it was insane. And it's crazy to believe that actually happened.
Within days, channels like Starbuzz and Emotional Affairs were posting titles like Alex Eala's 8 words that left Oprah Winfrey speechless, racking up 68,000 views, 24,000 views, and climbing. The formula was simple. Take Iala's real, documented, historic win. Attach a fictional confrontation with one of the most powerful media figures on Earth. Inject a racial slur. Manufacture a bombshell response. Then collect the clicks while nobody stops to ask, where are the 8 words? Because they don't exist. A systematic, source-locked analysis of this controversy reveals something very clear. There is no verified record, not in sports journalism, not in mainstream media, not anywhere in the public record from 2025 or 2026 of Alexandra Eala and Oprah Winfrey ever meeting, speaking, or appearing in the same room. Harpo Productions has issued no statement mentioning Iala. Iala's own public statements throughout 2025 and 2026 are documented as being exclusively about tennis and Filipino national pride. There is no transcript. There are no 8 words. There is no bombshell. There is no racial slur from Winfrey directed at Iala. But here's where it gets more complicated. The channels doing this aren't operating randomly. They're running a documented, named strategy. Researchers actually call it influence arbitrage. The mechanism is precise. Find a verified achievement by a rising athlete, connect it to a culturally explosive icon like Winfrey, inject a racial angle for maximum emotional voltage, and then let the Filipino diaspora's nationalistic pride do the sharing. And that pride is real. Iala herself has described the electric atmosphere created by Filipino fans who show up to her matches carrying flags. Fans who've turned her career into something that feels like a national mission. That loyalty is genuine, and it's being exploited. But this wasn't the end of what the research uncovered. Because when you trace the racial controversy backward, past the thumbnails, past the titles, you arrive at something that turns this whole story completely inside out. Oprah Winfrey's actual documented history with racial controversy is real. In 2013, at the Trois Pommes boutique in Zurich, Switzerland, a shop assistant refused to show Winfrey a $38,000 crocodile leather Tom Ford Jennifer bag, telling her allegedly that she couldn't afford it. Winfrey stated publicly that the assumption was made based on her skin color. The Swiss tourism office apologized. Boutique owner Trudy Gutz defended her employee, calling it a communication problem and a language barrier. The incident became a defining moment in Winfrey's public conversation about modern racism. And it's exactly the kind of charged, emotional, documented moment that gets stripped of its original context and recycled as raw material for a brand new allegation in a brand new conflict. Then there was 1992, when Winfrey hosted diversity expert Jane Elliott in a social experiment where her studio audience was segregated by eye color. Blue-eyed members were subjected to discrimination. Brown-eyed members received preferential treatment, an episode that's been cited in retrospectives for decades. These events happened. They're real, and they're being used as scaffolding, structural support for a controversy that itself does not exist. And this is where things shifted. Here is what the research uncovered that none of the 68,000 view videos will tell you. The documented instance of a racial slur being used in the same context as Oprah Winfrey, the verified, time-stamped, radio-recorded moment, was not Winfrey attacking anyone. It was actress Rae Dawn Chong, Winfrey's co-star in The Color Purple, who in 2013 used the N-word and other derogatory language to describe Winfrey during a radio interview. Chong's stated grievance that Winfrey had been competitive and jealous following Chong's casting in the film Commando. The person who used the slur was not Winfrey. Winfrey was the target. The entire architecture of the Iala attacks Oprah Winfrey for racial slur narrative is built on a real event, but the event has been inverted. The direction of the slur has been reversed. Winfrey went from victim to perpetrator in the retelling, and Iala, who has no documented connection to any of this, was inserted as the hero who delivers justice. That's not a rumor that got out of hand. That's a deliberate construction. And what gets buried in that construction is something that actually deserves to be heard. In 2025 alone, Alexandra Eala went 40 wins and 26 losses, won her maiden WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, beat world number 2 Iga Swiatek and number 5 Madison Keys back-to-back as a wild card at the Miami Open, and earned $907,777 in a single season, more than double her total career earnings up to that point. Researchers tracking the economic footprint of her rise coined a specific term for it, the Iala effect. Ticket prices for her matches climbed, viewership spiked, an entire region's relationship to professional tennis began to shift. That's a documented named phenomenon, real, measurable, and historic. On the other side of this story, Oprah Winfrey's Harpo Productions sits on a content library of 4,561 episodes across 25 seasons of The Oprah Winfrey Show, with an estimated syndication value of over $2 billion. On March 10, 2026, the same week the fictional Iala confrontation was generating tens of thousands of views, Forbes listed Winfrey among 22 celebrity billionaires who converted fame into 10-figure fortunes. Her promised land estate in Montecito is currently valued at over $100 million. These two figures exist at the peak of their respective worlds, one ascending fast, one long entrenched, and, according to every credible public record, they have never been in the same room. The 8 words that left Oprah speechless are never quoted in any of the videos that promise them. The title is the product. The outrage is the product. The 8 words don't exist because the conversation never happened. What happened at Indian Wells was historic. What Iala built across 2025 and into 2026 is documented, verified, and genuinely remarkable. What channels like Star Buzz and Emotional Affairs manufactured out of that reality is a synthetic controversy, a fabricated collision between two high-profile figures designed to go viral before anyone thinks to check the receipts. And the question that nobody promoting the 68,000 view version of this story seems interested in answering is this: when Alexandra Eala's real milestones are already extraordinary enough to carry a story on their own, why does the version that spreads the furthest need a lie at its center?